up, guys? How's it going?
Yo, man, what's happening? This is fun. Look at all of us in here.
I know, right?
Oh, yeah.
Some Brady Bunch shit.
Look at he's wearing his band shirt too. I'm glad you did because I didn't wear one today.
Oh, man.
It's good. Well, I did, but it says Bane on it. Doesn't do any good for the bands we're talking to today.
Poser.
All right, so I know. Wow, I got a Brayburn hoodie. Am I close? Okay. Two of the dudes from Talking Point. We got Billy and Jaron. We got two of the dudes plus one from Suicide Cages. Devin, Rico, and Mike here from Suicide Cages. Today is episode 10, gentlemen, and we're excited to have you guys. We're going to leave you to it for like an hour if you guys want to have a conversation.
I'll go first. I'm Rico. I play drums in Suicide Cages.
Wait, I'm Devin. I yell in Suicide Cages.
Hey, Devin. Hey, Andrew. I'm Jaron. I play guitar and do the yelling and sad vocals and Talking Point.
And I'm Billy. I play bass in Talking Point. Some yelling, not sad, more angry yelling.
Good
Oh, yeah.
shit.
I'm capable of being sad. It just doesn't sound good.
That's fair.
Billy, were you at the Comeback Kid show at the Summit? I thought I saw you.
Yeah. That was like one of the last shows I went to all by myself. Comeback, that was like a last minute decision where I didn't get a ticket because it was like a weekday in Denver and I fought over it for a while, and then Derek said he had an extra ticket and I was like, yeah, I can't pass it up. That was, probably one of the more important like records period in for me getting into hardcore. So once I was like, what was I thinking? Like there's no way I could pass that up. I literally have Wake the Dead as like a stomach tat. There's like a Thug Life tattoo.
Really?
Yeah. So there was like once Derek said he had the ticket, I knew it was like some like divine thing. I had to do it. I'm glad you brought that up because, in my 30s, just soloing a show like in a city that I don't even live in, and that would have been like the only time I would have done something like that.
That's awesome, dude. My first band I was ever in, the night before our first show ever, I was nervous as fuck. I was like 16. I wasn't nervous about playing, but I was nervous about like, what if this doesn't live up to the hype that I've like given it in my head? Like, what if this actually sucks? And then I have to like find a new identity. And I spent the night at my buddy who played guitar in that band at his parents' house. And he gave me his iPod, and I slept on his couch in the basement and just listened to Wake the Dead on repeat all fucking night to get hyped up, because I thought that would be a good idea, but I actually only got like 1 hour of sleep.
Yeah.
It was super under-resourced, and then we played first to like 30 people, and it did suck, but I'm still doing it.
30 people pretty tight. I think.
Yeah, dude.
30 people is
Yeah,
awesome.
I think for a first show, that's pretty tight.
It was like 25 band members,
Yes, there you go.
3 employees, and then 2 other people, I think.
Yep, maybe some moms.
Yeah.
We played worse shows than that in the last year, man. That's a good start.
As someone who's booked shows for a decade, that used to be the move. You would book 5 bands, so there would be 20 people in the room.
Mm-hmm.
That was the thing back then.
The old safety net.
Yeah, that was before the days of like three bands home by 11. Like back then, we used to purposefully overstack it so you forcibly had a crowd.
I heard an interview with Josh from The Chariot and 68 and Norman Jean talking about early Norman Jean shows and why they liked playing with ska bands. Is because it would be like 9 dudes and their girlfriends, and so it was guaranteed people in the room every time.
What was your guys' first show you ever played, and what was that like?
Get him J Money. Tell him.
The first show that I ever played, I was in when I was like 16. I had this like metalcore band called Texas Tragedy. There's a song that exists on SoundCloud, but you have to go find it. It's under a different name now, so it's disguised. But we played there used to be a venue in Johnstown called 3J's, which was like the launch pad kind of for like all the local bands. And so that was the first one that we played. And it was literally to like just my parents and the other bands. And then I remember that the promoter guy got mad at us because we didn't sell any tickets, and he was just like so angry because I think he was out of pocket a lot for the touring bands, and he was like, you guys didn't sell any tickets. And we were like, we're 16, we don't know what you're supposed to do.
I don't know anybody.
Yeah, I don't know anything.
Your fault for relying on us.
Yeah.
I think I might have been 15. I might have been 16, but I think I was 15. And I hit my first. I had played like fake shows in backyards with homies, but I think like the first show I actually played where things were mic'd is probably the best way to put it. I was playing drums in a punk band that had already kind of like made it big in Los Angeles, but like probably nowhere outside of Los Angeles. And like they had already played like a bunch of shows. They'd had a record come out. They had, local zines and like maybe some bigger zines already write up about them, but their drummer had left. And I said, I could play this easily. But this was like rancid punk. This was like not a hardcore band. This was, wannabe rancid punk. And I said, yeah, this is pretty easy. I should be able to figure this out. And then they were like, could you play a show in 2 weeks at the Knitting Factory? And so I was like, oh, sure. Why not? So my first actual show was drumming for a punk band, 2 weeks heads up, the main stage of the Knitting Factory to like 250 people. And I shit you not, I get told we have a backline drum set. There's all these bands playing. Don't bring your drum set. Cool. I'm fine with that. I show up, first note, first song, first bass kick, beat her through the head, blow the bass drum head.
Yep.
Awesome.
Played the entire 20-minute punk set, no kick drum, completely off time.
That's so sick.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that band, I played in that band for about a year and then I left, but I'm pretty sure that band was never asked back to the Knitting Factory because of that.
I could see that.
Sick.
Way overpressured. I should have never said yes. I also should have just trusted my gut and brought my stuff anyway, but was told, no, you'll be okay. First note, first song, just plow.
Hit the gas way too hard.
When's the backline ever okay?
Yeah.
It's been okay like once.
Timing was out the entire set, and I'm trying real hard to hit the bass pedal to get that click metal on metal as hard as I can, because now I'm going through, so I'm trying to at least make the metal hit metal so I can at least feel some sort of sense of time. There was no hope. It was abysmal. We did do that. Band I went on to play dope shows with them, but that was not one of them.
You should have started another band after that band called Abysmal, and that would have went really hard. Yeah.
Oh, I should. Okay, so that reminds me. That band was called My Sweet Revolt, and you can YouTube the songs, but I don't think you can. I don't think there's like a Bandcamp anymore or anything. But there was some zine back then in LA called Highwire Days, wrote up about My Sweet Revolt at this show, and then even went out of their way to be like, debut show for a new drummer, and they said my name. And my mom, I'm pretty sure, still has it framed in her living room.
Amazing.
a zine, like a Xerox copy of a zine, like in a frame.
Fuck yeah.
Sick.
That's dope.
Wait, we didn't hear Devin's.
I don't have a good story. This is the first band I've ever been in. Truthfully, I had some
No way.
Was your first show the one at my house?
I would say, I suppose it's the same. I half sang in a couple bands when I went to school in Greeley. And they were house parties, so I suppose your house was also the same. I'll tell the story of your house because the most vivid thing is our former bass player. So we did a warm-up show in Rico's basement in Broomfield. And I think we played for 9 minutes. Because I think our first real show was 14 minutes.
I think it was like 11.
Yeah, I remember we finished one more song before we played that HQ show, so then we had a 14-minute set.
In and out.
Yeah, baby. But I remember
Don't blink.
my most vivid memory of that show wasn't our set. It was our former bass player. It was your other band, Funeral Mask, played your last show, and we played our first show. And Tom, our former bass player, sang and played bass in Funeral Mask and asked to borrow my microphone, and then just didn't sing the entire fucking set. I still don't. I still have never heard vocals on those songs. I've been told there are.
There's only vocals on like 2 of them.
He just didn't do it. He was like really stressed about it, and I was like, "Yeah, man, just use my mic. If yours is all fucked up, it's all good." And then he just didn't. I don't know. I've never asked him about that. I don't know why. We'll call him after this and ask.
It was fun. It was a good show.
No, it was fun. It was just fucking confused, bro. Mostly. So no, I don't have as good of a story, unfortunately. But yeah, this was like the first actual band I've done. So it's cool that it's working and people give a shit. So I'm very grateful for that.
May there be many more bad ones to come, bro.
Oh, bro, we're gonna play less than 30 people. Yeah, we're not done doing that.
No, no.
Never
a good occasional rehumbling.
Yeah. You gotta have those for sure. I think every band needs those.
Do you think like the Rolling Stones plays bad shows anymore?
They don't play shows at all anymore.
No, they do. They play
Do
sometimes.
they? They got like propped up.
I don't. They've been playing.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
There's still enough people in that age demographic where they're not playing empty rooms. That's for sure.
No,
But like, what's a bad show to them? You know,
like fiddlers.
Yeah, cute.
they're like, no one's moving out there. Like, yeah, no shit. They're like,
No one's
they're like,
moving out.
they're like 70.
Literally.
Old
Yeah.
people.
We need an ambulance over by the scaffold. When the Oakland chapter of the Hells Angels has their way, I'm assuming that's a.
Nah, they're all dead too.
Yeah.
Devin, what would you say our worst show we've played together is?
I think the hardest show we've ever played. So the first time we played in Utah, we played 2 shows in Salt Lake City. And the first one we played at Aces High, which is an incredible venue. Fucking, we showed up. There's like 100 kids there. It was insane. Total blast. We got treated like fucking royalty. We got fed for free. Everybody was super kind. We sold a ton of merch. And then we were riding high, and we had played a second show in Salt Lake City at a DIY spot. And we're like, fuck yeah, man. What a great city. Like, this is going to be a cool day. And we show up, and it's an old church converted into like, I don't know, like a sort of food hall, but like most of them weren't in business. I remember the vegan cookies being super good.
Those were good.
Oh, that's crazy. Because there's how many DIY spots are in Salt Lake? Because Wolf has played like one of the other DIY spots in Salt Lake,
Yeah.
and that spot is sick.
Well, we tried to get a show there, and it didn't work out. This one, I think they did like 4 or 5 shows. It didn't make sense. But we got to play in front of this like huge.
No one we talked to the night before had heard of this place. They were like,
Correct.
Where are you playing? That's not a venue.
God,
But we
God.
I think
We
we
were like,
played that
okay.
show to like 12 people. I don't remember if anybody paid. I think we made like $60 because everybody just gave us all the money, which was really nice. But that was probably the hardest show because I had to like crowd work all these people that didn't really care, and I just kept moving backwards the whole time, which was really frustrating.
I closed my eyes while we were playing.
I think and then after the set, I remember recalling that there was like the 3-day festival, like Kilby Court Fest, and we played at the exact same time as the Postal Service. I was like, nobody should have come and saw us. Like, we probably should have just.
No, people probably showed up there on accident, had the wrong address.
Yeah, I was like 4 blocks away, the fucking Postal Service is playing. I would have probably gone to that too rather than come see us.
100%.
Play the set
But-
faster so you can leave.
Yeah, I was like, fuck. All right.
But didn't we like everyone huddle in and be like, let's just fucking cut a song? Didn't we do that at that show?
I don't think we did. I think
Damn,
we still started the whole set.
We stood tall on the set.
I'm pretty confident we did.
I feel like those ones you gotta add more songs. You gotta add like 5 more songs. Really lengthen it out.
There's been times where I've looked at Ryan and Jaron and Matt and said, "This is band practice.
Yep.
We're getting ours out of this."
I was proud of us. But yeah, that was a tough one. I don't know if that was the hardest.
That was a tough one, dude.
I could tell a very, very vivid LaPorte, Colorado story. That might have been the worst show we ever played. But
What's the
I don't wanna, like-
LaPorte story?
Yeah, where in LaPorte?
So the first year we were a band, we played at Wolf Blitzer 3 times, and I think that's how I met you, Billy, because we got on that Aggie show, and then
Yeah.
and that show was cool as fuck. And then we got invited to play a show by a promoter in Fort Collins that books weird shows.
they must not be named.
I don't have to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this is for sure. All right, this is a good story because this is by far the worst show. So we got there, and this is actually the day I met Derek too, in a roundabout way. It was at a farm which basically was just like a big yard on the back of some house.
It was a person's backyard.
Yeah, because I remember the power getting cut off because somebody turned on the microwave at one point.
The entire show was being powered out of extension cords from the dude's kitchen.
Yeah, I remember setting up, and like I brought my youngest son.
We were told this was a festival. That was the word that was used.
It makes sense.
This was in LaPorte. This wasn't like
It's the farming community next to Fort Collins.
So we the first thing I remember hearing is your voice, Rico, from behind me say, "So you're telling me I can't use my own drums?" And said in a way that I was like, "Fuck, we're leaving, aren't we?"
Bro, there was room. It was a field. There was room for drums.
There was like 3 trailers, like 1 behind and 2 in the front. But like Rico was drumming behind the stacks, and so I couldn't.
Here's what, bro. We played in the dark. The stage was illuminated by construction lights that were perfectly at eye level, so you're blinded. You can't see fucking anything. And the cabs were set up in front of me, and we're outside, so I could see nothing, and I could hear nothing.
Yeah.
I told everyone right before we played, I was like, bros, I can't see or hear fucking anything, so please just follow me, because I don't know what's going on.
And I'm pretty sure I stepped in shit at one point. Because I was
stepped in shit too.
And then like Mike and Tom were on the second floor, and then you were in the top, and I couldn't fucking hear you. So I was like missing half my cues. And then I remember at the end we got paid less because the porta potty was more expensive.
Yeah, which also
it was a really quiet drive back to Denver, man. That was a tough.
We got paid very little, and then there was a porta potty there, and I looked up like the website on the side just as a goof to be like, how much does it cost to rent this porta potty? And it cost more than we did.
It did definitely cost more than we did.
Now I know how to set my rate, how to establish.
Yeah.
When we booked that Aggie show, I don't remember. That one was packed. That show was pretty.
That was a good show.
That show was tight.
Yeah, so like that show was incredible, and it was a blast. And then we came up, and then we played that rough show, and I was like, "What are we doing?" I thought this was going to be sick. And then thankfully we got to end the year with the toy drive, which was cool. So we were like,
that was a
okay,
good one.
We played more good shows on Fort Collins.
The toy drive at the coast. Yes, that one was sick. Yeah,
that was a good show.
And so, but what was crazy too was I remember the only band I really loved at that farm show were like super young kids, and I was like, these dudes are cool as fuck. And then eventually they changed their name to Mood Swing Misery, and so in a roundabout way.
Devin, what do you think it would take to have a future show be worse than that one? Like something really bad would have to happen, right?
Yeah, do we really want to put this out there? Because it's never too late.
Yeah,
I mean, we almost played a white power bar in Reno. That was a close call. That would have been a really bad time. I booked that shit, and then some dude from LA had told us, basically was like, "Oh, you guys should not play there." And then I remember at practice you looking up on Reddit, Rico.
Well, he told us he was like, someone got murdered there and our show got canceled. And I was like, well, sometimes people get murdered at places.
Yeah.
I've played some places. But it was like, what, 2 months prior? And it was like it wasn't even resolved yet.
Yeah, no, it was in like December, and I think it was in like February we found out. And the first Reddit comment was, of course, 2 dudes got stabbed to death at the White Power Bar. And I was like, fuck.
The White Power Bar.
At the White Power. Oh, no.
Yeah, the comments were like, oh, no, a murder at the Nazi Coke Den. Surprised Tweety face.
I never would have thought of it because, like, the contact came from a reputable source. And then that reputable source got it from a Hispanic dude in Oakland. So, like, and then I Googled it and they had, like, 4.6 stars. So there's, like, no reason why I felt like I had to dig any deeper than that. But clearly I did. Also, they were the only venue in Reno that responded to me, period, and they responded within like 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Too eager.
Just rapid, and you're like, this is raising so many red flags. Yeah.
You're like, this is too fucking easy. I spent a month banging my head on the wall, and I got an immediate answer.
Please play, please.
Yeah, so don't fuck.
Please play.
The one time I booked a show in Denver, no white supremacists showed up, but the one time I booked a show in Denver, I had 2 touring bands coming from the West Coast, and I had a couple bands from Denver, maybe a band from Colorado Springs play. First band someone drive-by executes 2 people right outside the venue, and the shell casings were like right outside my car or something like that. So cops show up, and it's CSI. They've crime scene taped off the block. They've got that like circle camera that is like a 360 snapshot of like everything in time, and like 40 police officers are there. And this is before this venue was like a music venue. Like it was kind of just like operating super DIY with no licensure, and the cops could care less. We're getting pretty rowdy. They were just like, as long as you guys are inside while we're taking care of this, we you guys aren't even on our mind. As far as they're concerned, that's just a bunch of kids that were out of their hair. So we just kept rocking the whole show. We just kept the whole thing going. But when the time came to leave and I wanted to get my car and drive back to Fort Collins, the CSI guy was like, dude, this car's not moving for at least 8 hours. Like, no shit. Like, my car, like, they were like, where is everything? Here's the bullet holes. Luckily, it didn't like shoot my car, but
Jesus.
Did they make you stay?
yeah, they said your car will not
Dude.
move for at least 8 hours. So luckily, a buddy of mine who lived right down the street in Westwood was like, is that what it's called? Westwood? Is Westwood a neighborhood in Denver?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Yeah. He lived close to the venue. It was like, take my truck, give me your car keys. I'll Uber home. And in the morning, I'll Uber to your car. I'll take your car to work. And then after work, we'll meet up and swap cars.
Nice.
So I did get home, but I think at the time that car was like technically my wife's, before she got her own car, and then I just used this one full time. And so I had to be like, hey, so your car's in Denver?
It's evidence.
in a CSI crime scene. And she was like,
I want to talk about it.
Yeah, I just remember her being like, when is this going to end? How long do you plan on doing this for?
Hardcore is bullshit. Dude, my old band played a show in Queens, and I illegally parked the van and trailer on like the shoulder of a road under a bridge, just to like run in and play the set, and then I was gonna move it again because we couldn't find parking, and we played the set, and I run out to move it, and in like the fucking 30 minutes we played, someone had gotten murdered under the bridge, and the whole intersection was like crime scene taped off. And there was like a body under a sheet, and there was all these fucking cops standing around. And the van and trailer is in the middle of this crime scene under the bridge. So I kind of just like walked in and then just got in my shit and started it. And a couple of the cops turned and looked at me, and then one of them just like opened the police tape and let me leave.
Oh yeah, cops in New York, they get it.
I could have just been fucking anybody. I'm just rolling up like, hey, I'm just gonna leave real quick.
Everyone in New York has been inconvenienced by NYPD. Even NYPD officers have been inconvenienced by NYPD, so they get it.
They were like, it couldn't have been this guy. He's in like the worst getaway vehicle ever.
I've never been part of an active crime scene during a show, but I did get tear gas during Converge set once in Boulder. So that was kind of a bad time. In Boulder of all places.
I think that's like a rite of passage.
I know.
I got pepper sprayed during Terror in Denver.
Awesome.
That was sick.
I was in the trash talk riot at the Nike skate warehouse, where I think Nike was like, hey, come play this grand opening. And it's free. I guess it meant it was free to people who had tickets, but Trash Talk told the entire internet, like, roll up to this warehouse at this time.
Great.
And so, yeah, they tear gassed us, and I got tased. This shit was gnarly.
Amazing.
Dude, hardcore is ridiculous, and I love it so much. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to
Absolutely.
explain this to like regular people.
I just showed up to have fun, and I got tear gassed and tased.
And now we can laugh about it.
And it was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was one of my
and
favorite.
Trash Talk didn't stop. They thought it was, they just kept playing. And that made it even better.
We have a no stopping rule when we play.
I thought there was a woman freaking out at HQ a couple weeks ago when we did those like new metal shows. And she was just clearly drunk and into the set, but she was just like waving her arms. And I kept looking at her and I was like, is something wrong?
Is she moshing?
Yeah, like, do we need to pause real quick?
I just kept looking at her and I was like, fuck it, not my responsibility. And I just like jumped into the crowd and went the other way. I was like, if something's wring, Security can handle it. I gotta go do my job.
The only people getting me to stop playing are an active member of my band or Obama. And that's probably it. I'm not stopping for anybody else.
I think she was having a good time. I think she was just expressing it oddly. She bought a t-shirt, so I guess it wasn't that bad. So that was cool. Fucking weird. Those new metal shows were cool.
Yeah. What show was that? Which one?
That was the Snot and Skin Lab shows. The HQ
Oh, yeah.
The Springs one was weird. We signed a $5 bill, and then some kid was like, he's like, hey man, will you sign my vertical ID? And I was like, I think I just committed a felony.
Yeah, I was like, his mom is going to be mad about that.
I did it, and I took a picture of it because I wanted it, and then I realized I just took a picture of a vertical ID, and then the whole thing just made me feel weird, man.
Yeah.
I deleted the picture.
I deleted the picture, too. I was like,
I don't want to know where he lives.
Yeah, I don't want this.
Some kid from Parker clearly just got his driver's license, is like, fucking, I'm driving to Colorado Springs for a show, which I did all the time, whatever. Dude, when you hit 16, you're like, I'm going to drive as far from my house as I possibly can and go do something without telling my parents about it.
In their car.
In their car, of course. Of course.
Yeah, I got like a serious face wound at a show when I was like 16, I think. And I hid it from my mom for like 2 weeks. Because I didn't want her to be like, you can't go to shows anymore. It was at like a fucking like colonial era puppet house because I grew up in New England. I grew up in New England, and that they have hardcore shows at places like that, historical buildings. Yeah, and I got kicked in the face by an adult man, and successfully hid it from my mom for 2 weeks, kind of like this or like one of those.
Yeah.
Oh man, I remember when Knocked Loose was like not as big as they are now, and they were playing a house show in Greeley, and so we all rolled up, and there's like so many people in this like tiny house, and they had cleared like all the furniture out of the house and stuff, and they're just playing this dude's living room. There's a video of it on YouTube. It's insane, but there were so many people crowd killing. They're like, Knocked Loose stopped the set because people kept flipping the light switch off and on, like making it go dark. And they were like, nope, we're done. This is
and they were like a young band too, so they probably would have been like, no, we are not prepared for this. We did not practice for this.
Amazing.
Yep. It was crazy.
My old band played. We played a house show in Kentucky in 2014. We had a show booked in Louisville that canceled like 2 days in advance. This kid hit us up on Facebook and was like, you can play at my house. Like, dude, like 3 hours away from the city in the middle of fucking nowhere. And we get there, and this kid comes out who's definitely like, dude, 14 or 15. And we were like, fuck, this is a child. And he was like, my mom doesn't get home until like 8 o'clock. It's all good. Don't worry about it. And we played in his fucking bedroom.
Yeah.
While his mom wasn't home.
That's
I was like 23, I think. I was like, we shouldn't be here.
Did people show up?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, by the time we played, there was maybe like 10 kids, but they were like fucking ruining this kid's bedroom. Really, he was a part of it too. He seemed to really enjoy it, so we made that happen.
He was in on it. Yeah.
It's madness.
I've never. They're in when I played. I sang for a hardcore band in San Diego, and I remember playing. Like it was called the Escondido Punk House, and the guy who ran the house also had a radio station that was run out of the house, so you could like listen to these bands performing in the living room on air too.
That's cool.
Super cool. I think he ended up moving to Texas or something, and like the Escondido Punk House stopped being a thing. But yeah, it was like basically a open invitation for just fucking up this dude's living room, and he was like about it. And and Escondido is like East County San Diego, so it's a little bit more rural, so the properties are a little bigger, and I think it allowed for it to be that gnarly. Yeah. But I just remember thinking like, yeah, at the end of the day, he's an adult that owns this house, but it's like I'm in my late 20s and I'm just like, rip the wallpaper off. Fuck this house. Like,
dude, at that Kentucky show we played, we went to a gas station before to get water. And then I'm looking at like the fucking like the unit prices of the beverages, and like per fluid ounce beer was cheaper than water was in this part of Kentucky at this gas station. So we were like, fuck it, man. We just got a bunch of tall boys instead. then go to the show and realize we're playing in like a 15-year-old's bedroom. And
Yeah.
so I was like, I guess we're adult men drinking in this boy's room now is really what we're doing.
Yeah.
The show was a decent show. It wasn't the worst one I played on that tour.
Was that the same tour that you guys played that biker bar in Florida?
Yeah, that was an apartment actually. That was another one where
What is this tour?
Yeah.
so
That's why companies will specialize in this. They'll route it for you.
this is a good story. After that, we made it to Florida and we had a show in Orlando, and we just had an address and we pull up to it and it's like an apartment building. I don't see anyone that looks like they're there for a show. It's in a horrible area, and there's like this guy with dreadlocks there, and he's like, "Oh, you're here for the show?" And we were like, "Are you in a band?" And he was like, "Nah." And we were like, "Do you own the apartment?" And he was like, "Nah," but he was just hanging out there. Yeah, it was like a second floor apartment. All the windows were smashed out. There was broken glass all over the floor. No furniture. I don't know if anyone was living there. A motorcycle club showed up, and they were like the ones putting the show on. And people started showing up, and the motorcycle guys just started like beating people up and like revving their bikes like it was a fucking movie and like smashing bottles. And we had brought a ton of weed on tour, and we were selling it at shows where we weren't making money. And we were like, we're not going to make money at this show. Let's sell weed.
I'm selling weed to these guys.
And I sold weed to one of the dudes in the motorcycle club, and we ended up playing, and it was cool. It was a good show, I guess. And there was a guy smoking crack in the mosh pit. And our bass player,
He's like, "Oh yeah, this is the perfect opportunity."
dude, he was just at like, our bass player was straight edge at the time, and he was like blowing crack at our bass player specifically. And then we're done, and he kept being like, "One more song, man, one more song."
Do it again.
We were like, "We don't have any more songs, man." And he pulled out $5 and was like, "I'll give you $5 for it. Just play something, please, man." So we just kind of like huddled in and we're like, "Do you think we could play like some fucking Pantera for this fucking guy?"
Let's play Domination.
And
Everyone should be Domination.
yeah, we played Walk for this dude.
Yeah.
And the promoter never showed up, and we were supposed to get paid and he wasn't there. So we were like bumming out. And then one of the dudes in the motorcycle club was like, he pulled out a stack of cash and he gave us like a couple $100. And I was like kind of hesitant to accept that. I was like, I really appreciate that, man, but I don't want to owe you anything. And he laughed and he was like, yeah, you're right, you don't. But give me that guy's number. Give me the promoter's number and email. And I did. And I was like, "What's that for?" And he was like, "Oh, that guy owes me $300 now."
Jesus
So
Nice.
yeah, so we left Florida, and I guess we threw that guy under the bus.
I'm a proponent for. I saw a band do it once when I was in maybe high school. Force of Change played like 5 songs, and they had like a fill-in bass player who didn't know anymore. So there's like they show up there, they play the Bond We Share, which is like their banger track. They play 4 other songs, and then they go, "All right, guys, so and so's new. He doesn't know any other songs." And then they replayed the Bond We Share a second time, which was perfect because everyone went ape or shit, like more ape shit. And so I'm a huge proponent of it. So on the very last Deadbeat show ever, I had Jaren and everybody play My Devotion twice. I was like, "Fuck, we're never going to play these songs ever again.
It ripped harder the
Let's start with
second
My
time.
Devotion and end with My Devotion." And it crushed, and I think people think it's funny. So if you're ever in that situation and some guy's got $5 on it, dude, he won't know if you played the same song twice.
Yeah, that would have been easier.
Amazing.
That wasn't the worst show.
It was like a fucking magic key unlocking Pandora's box. It's like, you can do that, and people respond well.
What was the worst show on that tour?
Baltimore, because nobody showed up, and like I've played shows to no one. Like a couple years before that, we played in North Carolina and no one showed up, but we still played to like one of the other bands, a bartender, a door guy. Like there was actually like 5 to 7 people in the room, but like no one paid. But on that tour coming back up, we played in Baltimore, and there was like a way better show happening down the street at Charm City that we were not allowed to play on. And we get to our show, and the people in charge are like, "Hey, 2 of the bands dropped," and we were like, "Sick." And then one of the other bands, it was a 5-band bill. 2 dropped ahead of time. 1 showed up and then was like, "Fuck this," and left. And then the other band showed up, went inside, played, and then just left. So then it was just us. And we went inside, and it was like 2 girls working there, literally nobody else. And then as soon as we started setting up, they just went outside and closed the door. So it was only us in the band in that room. And we just stood there and looked at each other, and we were like, dude, we're going to make like such a good Facebook post about how rad the show was. And no one is going to know that we lied because no one was here.
Yeah. It's like if you were at Mindset at Charm City, you missed out because you could have been here. This shit was insane.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't even have anyone to take pictures, so we just had our vocalists start taking pictures of shit. That was the worst in the sense of we all were like, wow, why are we doing this? What a waste of time this is. But at least at like the really gnarly shows where like bad stuff happened, there was like people there.
Yeah, right.
Normally.
People were there to commit the crimes, which is
to create the chaos and the memories.
Yeah, that day in Baltimore was really rough. I don't even think that was the worst show ever. That was just the worst one that summer. I've played a lot of bad ones, but we're starting to have some good ones finally. I think they're more often good than bad now.
Since moving to Colorado, I feel like as someone who's lived on both coasts and multiple cities on the coasts, I feel like Colorado's pretty well, and I don't know if it's because growing up here, you're accustomed to like, this is at least as an outsider's perspective. Growing up in Los Angeles, or even in New Jersey, I felt like when bands would come through, they would play on weekends, and it was so super common for a band to hit the coast on a weekend. They'd be in Los Angeles on a Friday, or San Diego on a Friday, Los Angeles on a Saturday, and like Bay Area on a Sunday. And so in order to get there, maybe they had to do like Tuesday through Denver, Wednesday through Salt Lake, and Thursday through Reno or whatever, And so I just assumed that people from Colorado were accustomed to it. And when I first started booking shows in Fort Collins with like no expectations whatsoever, I booked 3 local bands, and so many people showed up. The guy who ran the old Pinball Jones Campus West was like, dude, you could do this whenever. Like, this is the 3rd highest grossing night I've ever had owning this place. And I was like, what? It was like Wolf Blitzer and like Deadbeat and the punk band. It was like,
sick.
And it was like Wolf Blitzer right after like the Synonymous Existence came out. So like, that's all of the hype I had to ride on was that. And it still was, the guy was like, dude, please come back. Please do this monthly. Please. Like, this was awesome, and paid like everyone tons of money. And I thought, damn, Colorado, and that has kind of been the wave ever since. I have yet to throw a show. I've yet to really be at an empty show in Colorado. I feel like the kids here just really show up and show out. When I lived in North Carolina, I would go to shows in North Carolina that would be 250 kids swinging from the rafters, or it would be like 5 people smoking cigarettes indoors. And so it would be like, it would just be a coin toss. And Los Angeles would be, everyone crammed into a storage locker, or there was a bigger show happening in Hollywood. And so no one would be but I've yet to hit that moment in Colorado where it's like, no one shows up.
Yeah, it's pretty rare, man. Like, we're fortunate. Like, so I grew up here, and I think when I was younger and coming up, Denver wasn't the city it is now. And so we just didn't get a lot of the bigger shows. And so when we did, you just went, and it didn't matter.
No matter what day.
Yeah, and it's like the hardcore kids were the same as the emo and the punk kids. You just all went to the same shows because we had to. And so I think coming from that kind of philosophy, obviously Denver and Fort Collins have gotten so much bigger than they used to be, but I think people just care so much, man. I mean, I used to book shows in Greeley when I went to school up there, and I'd pull like 150 kids, and I would only have like Denver and Boulder bands play, and half of them were just kids that didn't have cars and couldn't go. It ended up just being these like batshit crazy things on campus. I'd get the rooms for free to do like a canned food drive, and then the school wouldn't charge me any money. and we just end up having these like incredible shows, and people were so stoked and so grateful. So it's just always kind of been. I think we have something special here, and it's cool. And maybe it's because we're 8 hours away from anything else that's not Denver, Fort Collins, and Colorado Springs. So I really feel like folks could just turn out and care so much out here, man. It's fucking cool.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, we're very fortunate.
I grew up on the East Coast, so like coming to Colorado and like making a band here and playing shows here, it's been like way more positive and easier to do here than on the East Coast, where it felt like everyone hated you and your band. But I've heard people from like Fort Collins or Springs say that booking in Denver is hard because Denver is like kind of gatekeepy. Has that been your guys' experience?
I've never had problems. I feel like I probably have a skewed perspective as someone who's been booking shows for so many years and has and started out booking shows by asking Denver bands to come up, that they look at me and they think, oh yeah, of course the doors open to him because he opened doors for us. You know,
yeah. Booking does wonders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it depends on the venue too. Like the marquee, like the bigger venues, like the marquee and stuff, is kind of a little bit harder to get into. But once you play it once, you know the doors open and it's pretty easy.
Yeah, I think what I found with some of the bigger venues is just hitting them up and asking, like, would you have any open Friday or Saturday in October or November? And then you're like, cool, I'll take that one day.
Yeah. Let me have your off date. Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you're willing to do that. Like we played the marquee, November? And I did the same thing. We just wanted to do one last show for the year, and I was like, "Just do you have any Friday or Saturday available?" And they end up having a couple. So, yeah, it's weird, man. I don't know, but I also feel like Colorado Springs can be kind of tough. It's like easy to book, but tough to get kids to come out.
I feel like Springs reverse gatekeeps to Denver because they're like, "Nah, man, we have like 2 venues down here. This is like our thing."
Yeah, they're right next to each other.
Yeah,
which is funny because people in Colorado Springs hit up Talking Point all the time. Like they want us to play there all the time, and it's super cool, but it's also not the easiest because sometimes it'll be a Wednesday and it's like, brother, I got, live in Fort Collins, work in Denver as it is.
Stuff to do.
Like Ryan lives in Loveland and works in Broomfield, so it's like, we're commuting normally and just that. But the time we were able to make it work, we played Vultures, super sick, and everyone loved it. And like, now we got a show June 22nd at Triple Nickel, like that, where they asked us to play, and even when I was in Deadbeat, we got asked to play a bunch, probably because like there's a higher population of kids that are straight edge down there. I actually don't know what the percentage is, but it feels like it, especially when I was in a straight edge band that was like openly straight edge, where like X's were in our names, I should say, openly straight edge. Where people knew at face value, because they would hit us up all the time, and so it's funny. Maybe it's a like oh, you're not Denver, come down. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah,
maybe there is a reverse gatekeep.
Maybe it took us a little while to get our footing down there, but I say like the last 3 shows we've played down there, it's a lot of the same kids. Yeah, and we're starting to get like a pretty good. Like we played with Crowbar.
That was a good one.
There was dudes who came just to watch us. And like bought merch and like, all right, man, we'll see. I was like, you're not gonna stay for Crowbar? And they're like, nah, we just came to watch you guys. And I was like, damn, man, that's a $25 ticket. That's fucking cool.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like starting to catch on finally.
But Colorado Springs goes dummy hard. Like I love.
Yeah, the spring shows are like the scariest shows every time we play because just the velocity of the kids. It's so sick.
But it's also cool because they come up here, they come to Fort Collins, and they go dummy hard, and it's like, oh heck yeah, like. Respect.
There was a group of kids when we played with you guys at the Coast earlier this year that came up from Colorado Springs. And I was like, and he's like, there just wasn't any shows in Denver or the Springs we cared about, so we just came to see you guys. And I was like, that's crazy, man.
Sick. Yeah.
Like a whole group of dudes, and it was snowing that day. And I was like, this is madness, man. It was fucking cool. And I think that same group of kids came to the HQ show we played together as well. I know at least a couple of them did.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, that's I don't know, man. We played Trinidad once, and this woman threatened to beat my ass before our set started. That was a crazy show.
My dogs are about to freak out. I gotta take care of this. But gentlemen, I will definitely be on the next one, and we'll talk soon. Okay. I'm sorry to be that guy, but
Oh,
yes.
you're good, bro. Later, dude.
Nature calls.
All right, guys,
Later,
take
bro.
care.
See you,
ya, bro.
Billy.
Yo, that Trinidad show was fucking stupid.
Yeah, I want to hear about what happened at the Trinidad show.
Oh, Tom, the hotel first.
Okay, so the hotel was my fault. I tried to get us a cost-effective hotel,
Uh-huh.
and it was like a 420 weed hotel.
We broke the
And, like,
rule. We broke
didn't
the
real-
rule. You
I
never
know.
get you go second cheapest.
I got the cheapest, and it was
Not
100%
cheapest.
my fault.
Oh,
And Mike and I got a room that wasn't too bad. It was pretty quiet,
dude.
but Rico and our old bass player were next to people that just chose violence.
Well, no. So we our original room was okay, but the toilet was clogged, and we went to the office.
You rolled into the room
Yeah,
and the toilet was pre-clogged.
It was pre-clogged.
that's
Yeah.
correct. That is correct. And we go to the office of the hotel, and there's like a condemned notice taped to the door. And it was like office in room 10 whatever. So we had they had moved the office into a vacant hotel room. And this dude was wearing a Tool t-shirt, and I told him about the toilet. And there was some other guy in there screaming about his room. And the employee is like, all right, I'm going to go address this guy, and then we'll look at your room. So we all walk over together, and I realized that this dude's room is directly next door to ours.
Uh-huh.
And the guy is like, man, there's someone in my room that's not supposed to be there. Like, you got to get him out. And we go because the room is next to ours. And
Yeah.
the door is wide open, and there's cowboy boots outside. And someone is taking a shower in the bathroom, and the door is locked. And we walk up, and this dude walks up and starts banging on the bathroom door, and he's like, "Hey, man, get the fuck out of my room! What are you doing in here?" And I don't know how that got resolved, because the guy then came into our room, looked at the toilet, and was like, "I can't fix this. I'm just gonna move you."
It was an unfixable clog.
He didn't even try.
He was like, nah,
Yeah.
not today.
So
I
they
got
moved-
a lazy guy in a shower.
I don't know how many times I apologized to all three.
They
of you
moved
guys.
us into a different room. And then after the show, there literally was like 4 different parties going on, and we have all our gear like in the vehicle outside. And I look, and there's just like a mob of people smoking cigs, like literally encircling the vehicle. Like we couldn't leave even if we wanted to.
You didn't bring the gear inside?
So I bring some stuff inside.
Yeah, because
I
like with
bring,
Wolf,
like-
we would always bring stuff inside if we
Yeah.
were in like a sketchy area because we were like, oh, it'll be safer. We can at least try to defend it.
Yeah, I typically bring about like half of my stuff inside that I can take in like one trip. But yeah, we couldn't sleep that night. Like I literally had earphones in. Someone had a subwoofer that was like shaking the walls, and like we're trying to sleep for like an hour or two, and I think Tom's asleep, and then finally he just sits up and looks at me, and he was like, "Yo, what do we do? Like, do we leave? Should we just leave? It's 2 a.m. It's a 4-hour drive home. Do we leave?" And we went over to your guys' room because it was on like the opposite side of the L shape. And I'm fucking pounding on the door, calling you guys like, please let us in. We can't
what?
sleep in our room.
Do you know what I was doing? I was having an incredibly great night of sleep. I slept really well that night. I'm sorry.
We met you guys for breakfast in the morning, and you guys were all like smiling and like, oh, let's order an appetizer. And like me and Tom are like fucking so fucked. It was
Dude, it was so crazy. So the show, they had like a chalkboard on the wall, and it just said metal above our name, which ended up being like there was over 100 people there, and there was like kids that like drove up from like northern New Mexico. So overall, it was sick.
Oh, that's cool.
But-
Yeah.
Here's what happened. There was a bunch of people. The second we started feedback before the first song, like before a note was hit, 50% of the room left. But the 50% that stayed were really into it.
Well, this
Sick.
50% the 50% that left still had to pay $10 because there's only 2 bars in town, and one of them is a VFW hall. And so basically, if you wanted to get a beer, you had to come tolerate us. But the band that played before us was like a bluesy band.
Dude, they were like jazz fusion.
And then so we're setting up, and like I'm sound checking, and this huge Hispanic woman walks up to me. She's like, "Are you a singer or a screamer?" And I was like, "I can't sing." She's like, "If you don't get up there and scream, I'm gonna beat your fucking ass." And at that moment, Mike rings the guitar, and I was like, "Yo, this woman just started violence for Suicide Cages." And I just immediately screamed in her face, and she had like the best fucking night. But I was like, she's had a life, I could tell. And I was like, fuck. Yeah. She's like half joking, but she could absolutely take me.
Without say hello. That's how we say hello in Trinidad.
Yeah. That being said, that show
Trinidad,
hey. I would 100% play Trinidad again. The Dad Lounge.
Yeah, I just want to stay somewhere different this time.
Yeah, no, 100%. You can choose the hotel.
We drove past the hotel after the show that costs like $20 a night more, and I was like, wow, it looks nice over there.
Yeah, it's like a La Quinta or something.
Yeah, no, and that's the problem. It's like when we play in Cheyenne and you stay up there, it's like you can get an $88 hotel room that's pretty good. And I chose the $60 hotel room. And
you never go the $60, man. That's like
there's no excuse. I take full responsibility for my actions.
Yeah,
we're all grown women with jobs.
You gotta go for like the $100 a night and just get one room and then sneak in the extra people.
Yeah.
Just look at what everything costs and go with like the second or third cheapest, because the bad people are not going to spend the extra $10, and it's a different world.
That's true.
Yeah, if they've got a continental breakfast, you're good to go.
Yeah, it's the best.
I've hit continental breakfast at hotels I haven't even stayed at.
Yeah, you just go in there. They don't check. You just go in there, use the restroom, and then you sit down, get you a plate, start making some of those pancakes or the waffles or something.
Oh yeah, man. Huh.
Yeah, we used to steal food from Walmart on tour. We would hit tour hack. Tour hack
steal.
We would go to like a Walmart super center after the show at like 2 a.m. Where we would also be sleeping, and I would go in and just like go grocery shopping, and then take it to the family bathroom, like buy like electronics in the back, and then I would just lock myself in there and eat it and flush all the wrappers down the toilet, and then
Jesus,
and then sleep in the parking lot and not leave.
Their security cams probably have you on camera, like just with a huge bundle of stuff walking in the bathroom.
They're like, did he
walking out with nothing? And they're like, this guy's suspicious.
Did he just eat an entire box of Pop-Tarts?
In the Walmart bathroom, man. That's desperation.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like not stealing if you don't leave the.
I won't even go to the bathroom. The Walmart bathroom anymore. That's like Rico and I drive around a lot for work, and so I've become very choosy on where I go to the bathroom.
Top gas station bathrooms. Buc-ee's is sick if you're nearby. Great restroom.
Yep. Yeah. Buc-ee's is pretty top tier.
Maverick is not top tier, but they always have restrooms.
Maverick has ones you can actually use. 7-Eleven's so hit or miss, and if they're open,
One time I went to a 7-Eleven and
not
I
a
went
good
to like wash my hands in the bathroom, and somebody had puked in the sink, and I was moments from just like no looking, sticking my hand underneath there, and I was like, oh, and then I was like, nope, and just left.
Hotels are a really good bet for a public restroom too.
Yeah.
If you're traveling and there's a hotel at like the highway exit, and you just like speed walk into the lobby and be like, hey, how's it going? And just go right to the bathroom.
Yep. Visitor centers are pretty top tier. The Cheyenne Visitor Center. Excellent.
Little America.
Yeah, Little America also rips.
Yeah. Fuck Little America.
Yeah.
Fuck Little you, dude. Little America was sick.
The bathrooms are so nice. They got like the marble and stuff. Like,
here's what.
Dude, Rico spent 6 fucking hours hyping up Little America to me the first time we played in Utah.
Look,
and we got there, and that place was mid. It was fine. It was clean. I don't know, dude. It just didn't like blow my dick off. Like, you just spent so much time passionately expressing.
Here's the thing about Little America. You drive across Wyoming on I-80 and you see the signs for hours. And at first you're like, that's cute. I guess I'll stop. And then you see so many that you're like, fuck that place. I don't care how cheap their soft serve is. And then you get to the point of approaching it, and you're like, we have to fucking stop. There's nothing else.
Yeah, you gotta.
We
check
have
it
to
out,
get. We have to get gas.
Well, I suppose the last gas station we saw before that was that one in Laramie that had that rat painted on the side of it with the giant COVID vaccine into it, and there was like something about blaming Martin Luther King for COVID. I didn't really understand it.
That burrito place next door.
So I suppose the burrito's tight, but I suppose Little America was an upgrade.
It's not bad. It's not bad, bro.
Oh my god, that feels like a good place to
Yeah.
We're gonna stop there again soon, dude. We're gonna be there soon.
That's true. We'll be out. Fuck Little America. I'm gonna be so grouchy in July.